Now let us go on to multiplication and division of fractions. Now I just want you to understand that in this revision course we're not going to be going into the foundational principles of fractions and what really are to be the basics of fractions as from scratch. What we're just doing is we just want to polish up everything, just put the icing on the cake, make sure that you recall your multiplication and division of fractions, even addition and subtraction. So we have other videos on Fundo Academy and on our YouTube channel that are gonna start with fractions and everything, the basic stuff. So it's just a revision type of thing that we're doing right here. So with the example that I have here, I would want you to pause the video and maybe try to work out and see if you can simplify the fractions that we have here in multiplication and division. But right here I'm going on to the solution, starting with part A, in which we have 8 times 2.5. Alright, so that's a simple fraction here. We'll be getting, if we have 8, then we'll be having 8 multiplied by, we can write 8 over 1, which is still okay. So it's times, in this case we've got 2.5, so we can express it as an improper fraction and it will come out as 5 over 2. That is after multiplying 2 by 2, that's 4, and adding plus 1. Alright, so that will come out as 5 over 2. Multiplying here, then I look for the numerators and the denominators and see if we can have a common factor. I'm seeing here that we've got 2 here and 8. So I'm saying that if we divide the denominator here by 2, we get 1, and if we divide 8 by 2, we get 4. And if we multiply the numerators, we'll be having 4 times 5 will give us 20. The denominators is 1 by 1, and it will give us 1. So our solution will come out as simply 20, and that's the answer to part A. Alright, let's move on to part B. On part B, we have 4 2/3 multiplying 1 2 over 7. So what you're seeing here are two mixed fractions. Two mixed fractions in multiplication. The best thing to do here would be to first express them as improper fractions. Alright, so if we are to express this in improper fractions, 4 2/3 will become 14 over 3. Now I hope you can recall how we can express a mixed fraction as an improper fraction. Alright, and we also have 1 2 over 7 will come out as 9 over 7 as an improper fraction. And now I look for factors for the numerators and denominators. Like I'm saying that if I divide 3 into 3, I get 1, and 3 into 9, then that will give me 3. So the common factor between the denominator and numerator 3 and 9 was 3. Dividing it, I get 1 and 3. I'm also seeing here that 7 is divisible into 7 and also into 14, getting 2, so that the numerators will be having our solution as 2 times 3, we get 6, and on the denominator we still have 1, so our answer comes out as 6. Let's go on to the last one, part C. And on part C, we also have a division and mixed fractions. So we have 6 2/3 divided by 1 3/4. So why don't we first express them, the two mixed fractions, as improper fractions. So 6 2/3 is 6 times 3, 18. 18 plus 2, that's 20. So we'll be getting 20 over 3. And we have a division sign here, but first let's have 1 3/4 as an improper fraction. It comes out as 7 over 4. Right, and next I'll be having 20 over 3, and if we have a division sign, then we can introduce a multiplication sign, and eventually this 4 over 7 will invert. If it was 7 over 4 will invert to give us 4 over 7. Whenever you introduce a multiplication sign and you have a fraction, you've got something multiplying a fraction, let's say b over c, or let me just do it like this. If you have something like a dividing a fraction like b over c, then if you introduce a multiplication sign, then you have to invert b and c so that it becomes c over b. So that's what we've just done. We had divided by 7 over 4, but we introduced a multiplication sign and it inverted to become 4 over 7. Alright, so I look for factors on the numerators and denominators, but I'm seeing none. So what I simply do is I multiply the numerators 20 by 4, and that will give me 80, and 3 times 7 will give me 21, and it's an improper fraction, so I express it as a mixed fraction. 21 into 80 will become 3, and remainder 17 out of 21. So that becomes the solution to part C.